Thank you, Todd, and thank you all for being here. I'm really excited to hear from key product leaders in the company about all the innovation in our products, to see that innovation in action through the form of demos. And we're going to start by talking with two key leaders in our product organization, Okta's Chief Product Officer, Diya Jolly, and our Director of Developer Relations, Emeka Afigbo. Welcome to you both.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
So Diya, let's start with you. You know, everybody talks about digital transformation. Obviously, developers are at the center of that, but their needs have changed over the years, specifically enterprise. Tell us how that has happened over the years.
Yeah, of course. So today, software has become an integral part of any organization. Any organization, no matter what they're selling, needs to be able to connect with their consumers digitally to be able to remain relevant and thrive. So developers have obviously become a critical resource in companies, and they're scarce. Developers are the ones that are building new applications, new experiences, as well as moving forward innovation in organizations. And while doing all of this, they need to ensure that the technology that they're building is also secure. This is a lot to ask of them. New business requirements, new attack vectors, new technological innovations that they need to keep on top of and implement. So as a result, developers are always looking for tools that make their lives easier, that help them get their projects up and running faster, that help them provide rich documentation and support when they inevitably run into trouble, and that are future-proof from a requirements perspective. And now, this is what has really fueled the intense industry focus on developer frameworks, on CI/CD automation, on microservices that developers can use within their apps, and more. So the essence really is that developers just need tools that can work across their tool chains, whether they're working in a hybrid, cloud, or multi-cloud environment.
Certainly sounds challenging, and it's probably only accelerating. If that's the case, what's Okta's vision to make these developers successful?
That's a great question, Ryan. Our vision is not just to provide a world-class set of authentication and authorization services for developers. It's to actually help them also secure the applications they're building, secure their APIs, and secure their infrastructure. The goal of the Okta Identity Platform is to provide a unified platform that reduces the burden on developers to actually be able to build their apps, to be able to use the services and APIs that they need to get up and running, to be able to test their apps and deploy their apps into production. So now developers can get up and running faster than they could before, and they can focus on moving forward their business requirements. This is why we're reimagining the Okta Developer Platform and the Okta Developer Experience to speed up time to production across the application development lifecycle and also across the entire developer toolchain.
That's certainly a compelling vision. Emeka, I want to come to you. You've been a developer for a long time. As a developer yourself, what's your view on how Okta is solving these problems?
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. So first of all, I'm excited to say that we announced our enhanced developer edition. And this exposes a greater surface area of the Okta Identity Platform through an expanded free 15,000 monthly active user tier. And what this means is that whether you're a developer building a simple application or a complex application, you can now begin to design, build, and deploy all sorts of awesome digital experiences. Secondly, we're announcing a bunch of great integrations into app platforms like Heroku and API gateways like Kong. And what this means for you as a developer is that you can directly integrate Okta into your application stack. We're also releasing some new open source tooling, sample code, documentation that enables developers to really get up to speed in building their applications without needing to know all the nuances of identity before it can become productive with our platform. And thirdly, we are also excited to announce that we've enhanced our developer community with experts in different programming environments. And as a developer, this means that you can then quickly and easily find answers to your questions when you need help and get active help right in the moment when you need it.
So that's amazing. So a new 15,000 monthly active user tier that's free, integrations with Heroku and Kong, better documentation, and an enhanced community. Is that right?
Yes.
That's amazing. I'm sure people are going to be asking, when is it available and where can developers find this information?
Oh yeah, it's available right now as we speak. So all the open source integrations that we're launching, the sample apps, the documentation, everything, and the new developer edition is available at developers.okta.com like right now. You can literally, as a developer, sign up and start building and deploying your awesome digital experiences. And as we continue to innovate on our identity platform, you're going to be seeing more features and functionality available in the Developer Edition.
I love it. Well, Emeka, Diya, thank you. I want to actually now throw it over to the demo team so you can see some of the things that Emeka talked about in action. Demo team, take it away.
Hey everyone, I'm Danielle, a product manager here at Atko Foods, a global grocery company. We've recently decided to launch a new direct-to-consumer brand with a snack delivery service called Munchbox. The launch is ambitious. We want a Munchbox on every single sofa. So we need to get a new app with a great registration and login experience spun up right away. I've asked my lead developer, Micah, to get going on the prototype.
Thanks, Danielle. I know intimately that it usually takes months to get something like this developed and into production. And it figures that Danielle lays this on me after she assigned me, no joke, 5 other projects this morning. But it's high visibility and I want the visibility. All right, I know this is going to be a big effort and I know the app will need authentication and authorization. I've heard good things about Okta, so let's take a look at what they offer. Looks like a free Okta developer account supports a lot of users and seems to handle a lot of the hard things about building off. It looks pretty simple to sign up and get started with GitHub or Google, so I'll use this for my prototype.
Hey Micah, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but our execs just moved up our timeline by a month and they want to see a prototype next week. Any ideas?
What? That's crazy. I need to rethink my whole approach to fit these new timelines. Let me grab Brian from our DevOps team and see the best way to model this out and get it into production. Brian, we have this crazy deadline. We've just had another project dropped in our lap. If I have an end-to-end app, will you be able to deploy it to production? It's going to need authorization and authentication, and Okta seems to be a great fit. Will that work for our production environment?
Hey Micah, as long as the app is easy to containerize, then we should be good to go. And using Okta is a no-brainer. We already use it internally for SSO and even to manage access to AWS. So don't worry about it. When it's ready to go to production, I'll take care of it.
Great. Thanks, Brian. It's great to hear that I can use my developer tools to speed up the prototype and know that it will easily translate to our production environment. I'll use JHipster, an application generator, to create a React frontend and a Spring Boot backend. Then I'll deploy the application with Heroku, an application hosting service, and I'll use the Okta add-on to provision and configure an Okta instance on the fly as the authentication service. First, I'll prototype an app with JHipster and set some of the configuration here. I'm choosing Okta as the authentication provider so I don't have to build auth myself. All right, the JHipster app is done. Second, let me deploy this to Heroku. I know I can create an Okta org right from the command line, and the Heroku add-on is doing some basic Okta setup for me, including an admin user and password. And this makes it so I don't have to leave the terminal at all. It's automatically going to create an Okta developer org and assign an API token for easy integration with Munchbox. It will also create a single-page app in Okta for Munchbox with all the OAuth config filled in. While that's running, let me take a look at Okta's documentation. There's a sign-in widget here that seems to handle all of the core flows around signing in, so I don't have to build registration, login, and email validation flows for our customers by myself. That will save me a few days' work. That's all done. Now my skeleton application is created, and I'm going to log in as the admin, and I can see that I'm all set. This was great. I didn't need to spend any time implementing login and registration, which means I can focus on building out the different Munchbox pages. All done. And now I'll send it off to Danielle.
Micah, this is great. Look at all of these snacks. I know you're happy that it looks like you spent 100 hours of time on this versus the 10 you actually did because you used Okta. Our execs loved the prototype. They told me at lunch, and they said to ship it. So I'm going to ask Brian how soon he can get this app deployed to production.
Okay, so I'm going to take the app that Micah built and deploy it to Amazon's Kubernetes service using Terraform. an open source tool that creates and manages infrastructure from config files. The JHipster build already created a container, so all that was left for me to do was to update our terraforming config to include Okta. Don't tell him, but while Micah was spending all that time on the business logic for the new Munchbox application, it only took me about 10 minutes to update the terraforming config to include the Okta Terraform provider. To get the deployment started, I'll just run terraform apply. We use the Okta Terraform provider to configure the Munchbox Okta production tenant with a new OAuth application and the related resources, the deployment of the app to EKS, the creation of application health checks, the setup of load balancers, and finally, the DNS entries needed for the Munchbox domain. Cool. It looks like Terraform is finished. It only took about 2 minutes to deploy the app and all its dependencies. That's much faster than it used to take just to get access to the Kubernetes cluster. Danielle, you're all set. The new application has been deployed.
Let's take a look. The Munchbox app is live and the registration page looks great. Okta's developer experience made that entire process go way faster than any identity project I've ever worked on, which is going to make me look great in front of our exec team. And I suppose the team did a stellar job taking this from idea to prototype to production really fast. Kind of makes me feel like we can do anything. Like we really are making the world a better place through more efficient snacking. But hey, Micah, can you jump on those other 5 projects I assigned you in the next hour or so?